in this diagram, so blue scales are non-dominant to red, regular wing type is non-dominant to wyvern, and having a gem on the chest is non-dominant to having no gems. So then if we go into it, as you can see, the dragon here is a blue-scaled wyvern winged with a gem. So I'll show you how to calculate that out later. So the DCR double crossover event, as we see, and we'll use her diagram up here because she will be who we're crossing over now because she's the heterozygote. So we would cross her over with blue scales, so then her child would have regular wings or gem, or red scales, wyvern wings, and no gem. And so the probability of this is 0.01155, and how we would calculate that out would be their R1 value multiplied by the R2 value times the C value, and that would give us the probability value of a double crossover event, and then you multiply that by 1/2 to get the specific gamete you're looking for. So then if you have a single crossover at 0.1, which is right there between scales and wing type, it would basically be, the probability would be 0.12845, and that would basically be R1 minus the double crossover probability you just got. And again, for specific gamete, you would multiply that by 0.5 to get your specific gamete value. The next one will be a crossover event at the second portion. And so that would basically result in a blue wyvern no gem or a red regular gem dragon, as you can see from my little chart here. And again, calculation is pretty much the same except R2 value minus the double crossover value. Then we get to the NCO, or parental, so these two will look exactly like the parents because there's no crossover event. And so the probability of this is basically you take the single crossover probabilities, like so both the single crossover 1 and single crossover 2, as well as the double crossover event, and minus 1 by all of those, and you get the probability, which for this case would be 0.76155, and then of course you multiply that by 1/2 to get the specific probability of this event occurring. And so as you can see here, she is actually, for her parents, if you look at it again, she would be a double crossover event in her parents, but because we are using her as the parental generation for the next ones, she would be, that's how I calculated out all the others. Here are my sources.